What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Movement Mindset powered by Station Athletics. I'm Chris Hardenberg here with JJ again. He's not sitting down yet for this episode because he's making sure the cameras are ready to rock. But there he is. Hello. So this is episode 2 of our Q&A episode. We had so many good questions, and let's face it, I was probably pretty long-winded on the first one, but I wanted to get the information out. And so we said, okay, hey, we actually called an audible in the middle of filming it, and we're like, all right, listen, this is going to be a 2-part episode. So here's the second one. Hopefully you enjoy it. So JJ, first question.
This is a Scott question. It kind of rolls off of what you're just talking about.
All right.
The heavy lifting, low reps, and light lifting, high reps.
Mm-hmm.
Why is celebrating PRs important to not only the person who achieved it, but also the class and the community?
So that's a great question from Scott. I think it's super important because it makes the person who hit the PR feel really good, right? Yeah, it's great to do something cool on your own because you know you did it. But let's face it, it's always great to celebrate a win with other people, right? If you've ever done sports, part of the fun part is like you have teammates to celebrate with or family that saw you do the cool thing, right? And so it's nice to be able to celebrate the win with people. The other cool thing is those people, especially in our gyms, you're probably working out with about the same people every single day.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I know hitting a PR at like a regular gym, like you probably have someone spotting you that's just there that day.
Right.
That happens to be there, unless maybe it's like your buddy that's there too. But celebrating here with people that have been there since day one, that like know how much work you've put into it and like are there to actually be there to support you when you finally hit that lift you've been working for, it feels so much better than just with some random guy who's like, nice dude.
So true. Because like you said, it's like people you're working out with at our gyms, you generally have the same schedule. So it's like you see the same people every day. And so, yeah, to celebrate that, it allows everyone to be like, man, look at the work you put in. And then for the outsiders, it is cool because if I'm an experienced person, I don't PR as much, right? It's just the nature of it. And so it allows me to kind of like still celebrate those wins for people. And then if I'm new, I get to see what's ahead of me. And so it's kind of it allows that person to be like, don't give up. Like, I know I just squatted 200 pounds, right? But when I first started, I was squatting with a 10-pound kettlebell. So I think it's really, 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 really important for us to celebrate the wins with people for those reasons.
All right, we have a Felicia question now.
Hey, Felicia.
Shout out Felicia. How do you navigate people not hitting their goals, even if they're following the program to a T?
That's a good one, and definitely something that will have faced a GM like Felicia before. So let's back up. If someone's not hitting their goals, we have a sequence we follow here at Station Athletics. And so it's like basically a list of questions like, okay, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And if everyone says yes to all those things, chances are actually one of those things are not true. So they might be, not lying strong, but like
fibbing.
And then we'll say, okay, record what you've eaten the last couple of days, kind of go through it. Long story short is every once in a while, if we go through our whole list of things and it's like, shoot, they are doing everything to a T, then it might be a conversation of like, hey, what have you done in the past? Get an idea of like, maybe this might take a little bit longer. Are you on any medications, that might slow down the process? But then the other thing is like, you might have to like see what's going on underneath the hood, which means like getting blood work and looking at your blood panels, because there might be some sort of supplementation that we are unaware of because we can't take blood. Something else where at the time of filming this, we've launched at our Sparta gyms as a beta test is our connection with Optimus hormone therapy. So for peptide therapy or hormone therapy, weight loss stuff. Because essentially, especially in America, right, the way we live our lives can just thrash our hormones, thrash them. So lack of sleep, high stress, poor food quality, poor food choices, eating on the run. People don't even realize that like our digestive system was made to like sit and eat and enjoy food. That's why like, JJ brought up ancient times. Like no one's like, hey man, listen, I just got to hop on my camel and go to this next meeting. I'm just going to eat this on the run. It's like, no, you made a kill. You killed an animal, you skinned it, you cooked it. And what did you do? You sat around the fire and just ate. And so our digestive system's kind of made to be that way. And we're hijacking it. I know I do. I hijack it every single day, right? I'm running between meetings. And so doing some of those things, and for a lot of people, all of those things year after year after year can really set our hormones back. And when we make changes to get into a healthy lifestyle, our hormones are the last thing to bounce back, really. And so that's why we made this connection to be able to say, hey, meet with a provider, a true medical provider who's trained in this. Um, Her name's Jeannie. And so it's like, talk to her about what's going on. And then through that, if they think that it's appropriate, right, we can order they can, not we, but they can order a blood panel. And then off of that can say, okay, based on your blood panel, this supplementation would help, or, you might need, this sort of therapy to help. And so that's kind of the next level for us, and why I'm super glad this question got asked, because it allowed me to kind of talk on it a little bit. Is like, we have a whole laundry list to go through, and what we go through helps 90 plus people who come to the building. And for the vast majority of people who don't listen to us, right, it's probably one of those factors. But like I said, for some folks, there is something going on internally that needs to be addressed that is outside of our purview. And the only way to kind of find that is to get blood work done and get a blood panel done. And so to have that partnership, um, and working through that partnership to work out the kinks so that we can run it across all our gyms is super exciting.
All right, our last question.
Okay.
Scott, thanks. Or sorry, Nicole Y.
Okay. Another
Again,
Nicole.
Another Nicole. This kind of goes with that one that Felicia just asked. What advice would you give to a longtime member who are still struggling with some of the high skill movements?
Dave and I did a podcast a little while back on individualized help. And so, what I would say to someone who has been a longtime member who's still struggling to get certain movements is they might want some individualized help. So, basically, for 90% of the people who come to our gym, group class is like the way to go. You get to work out with your friends, you get to great energy from the class. The program that's being written is for general, what we call GPP, general physical preparedness. And so it allows it casts a wide net to help people hit their goals. But then, someone might come in with the goal to lose weight or tone up. They do that, and then they see someone doing something cool, whether it's double unders, butterfly pull-ups, whatever the case is. And it's like, man, I want to do that. That's usually how the progression works. Most people don't come to the gym like, hey, I know I'm overweight, but I really want to do bar muscle ups. It's like, I want to lose weight. And now that I've lost the weight, I want to do this cool thing. And so, we'll have some things that you can do in class, but the limitations of class is I'm a coach, right? I got 12 people in class, and I'll take you through some skills and drills. But really, if I don't have a skill, I need to dedicate 30 to 60 minutes on just that, right? And that's not feasible within a class setting. So how do I accomplish those skills? One way is to do personal training. We have plenty of people, and actually Nicole is one of these people. So I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, where she's like, I want to get X or work on X. And so she pays a coach to work on that for, let's say, a half hour, once or twice a week. And she's made tremendous progress. She works with Alex at Station Road, and she'll work with me occasionally. And she said when we first started, she couldn't string 2 kipping pull-ups together. And now she could do 4 or 5 at a clip, and it looks really good. She's getting really close to being able to do toes to bar. And so these are things that, like, she wouldn't, I don't want to say she wouldn't. She either would have taken much longer to get to, or maybe never gotten to if she didn't zero in on that goal and ask for individual help. And then the other thing we're testing out at Roseland at the time of filming this, that's going to be eventually coming out to all our gyms, is hybrid programming, where I'm taking class and, I'm not working with a coach one-on-one, like personal training, but they might prescribe me skills and drills. And so it's like, okay, cool. I look at my program and that's what I'm doing before or after class, whatever the case may be. And so essentially, guys, what I'm trying to say is, if you are a longtime member who has very specific goals now, like I can't get X, Y, Z high skill movement, taking the time to incorporate some individualized focused help in addition to the class, so you get the benefits of both and can get those skills you're looking for, is definitely the best way to start to progress towards some of those things.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely, like, some people it just takes longer to get things done.
Right.
Like some people just naturally you have to put in a little more effort. I know I had that experience in college where I came in, would work my tail off, go to the gym 2, 3 hours a day, go to the field after that or whenever I could to try and fight for a starting spot. And all of a sudden, this freshman comes in that's 6'4", 215, all faster than me, just naturally stronger than me, and he sits on his butt all day doing nothing, and he's out there playing. I'm just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like I'm in here putting in all this work, putting all this effort, trying to get my goals to try and be out there on the field, and he's basically doing nothing. He's still out there, but like that's just how it is. Some people just have to work harder, and I feel like individually it's going to happen at the gym too, where you lose all this weight and now you want to do these cool movements. You see other people that start after you and they're doing them already, and it's just you just got to put in a little more effort, a little more work, a little more time, and that's where the individualized help and the personal training and all that comes in because I mean, we offer that stuff. I
Yeah.
think that's huge. Like you're struggling at this, let's help you work through it. Let's take time and actually do this to help you achieve your goal. And I think it's an awesome thing that we offer here and you will accomplish it. It's just about putting a little more effort than everyone else sometimes, and it's just how it is.
Yeah, and JJ, you touched on a good point because I feel like, especially if I've been a member for a long time, that's the frustrating part is like Susie just started and she could already do toe to bar. And I think it's funny because like when we're kids, we have a very recognizable ability to be like, oh, so and so is a really good athlete, right? They just pick up on things fast. But then we become an adult and it's like, I don't know if people forget, but like there are still levels to this,
Mhm.
right? And so it's like Susie might have been a Division I softball player, right? And so it's like she's just a really good athlete, and I've never played a sport in my life, and so it's like people who have are generally more athletic or like have a more athletic disposition, they will pick up on things faster. That's just the reality of it. But I actually had a coach say to me one time that the reality of it is some people have to put in more time than others to get to a certain goal. And that's okay because the goal is still the goal. And so at the end of the day, if you're like, I want to get pull-ups, don't think about it's going to take me so much longer than Susie. Think about what do I need to put in to get to my goal? And if that's still your goal, then just put in the time. And I think that's a really good thing to remember is like, it's just a reality of life and that's okay. And then if you're not willing to put in time, then just reassess the goal. But yes, being willing to put in the work and then, like you said, take advantage of those services is the way to go for sure.
And this goes off of it just builds all these questions got to build off each other with
Yeah.
the PRs with Scott,
Yeah.
where that's once you finally get it, you're gonna feel much more accomplished than the person who just walked in there and did it.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be such an accomplishment for you, and you're just gonna keep working. You're gonna want to keep getting better. I know this guy in a previous podcast you talked about the journey, falling in
Yes.
love with the journey as opposed to just the goal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what kind of puts you in that mental space of now you've worked so hard for this goal. What's next?
Yes. And that's cool because it's like you said, it feels so good if you've hit something you've been working for even years, right? And then it's like that then maps to life where it's like, well, I remember this time I couldn't get this thing. I worked my butt off for 2 years and I was able to accomplish it. Why can't I do the same thing here? Cool. Did you say that was the last one?
That was the last question.
Got it. So guys, hopefully you took some things away from that. That was actually kind of fun. I liked that. So we're going to be throwing that in periodically. So
And if you guys have more questions, please ask them. We enjoy asking questions, and it gets Chris, I know,
Yeah.
loves being involved in the community and all the members and talking with them and figuring out what to do better.
Yeah.
And asking these questions help that.
yeah, so if you have anything, guys, don't hesitate to reach out. As always, guys, like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram. Give us a 5-star rating on the podcast platform we listen on. We'll see you at the gym.